that person conform to social expectations. Righteous governance is what you do in your various civil society organizations. I watched some people went to Abuja recently on some civil organization for a demonstration national assembly, and I counted. I saw just like 13 or 14 people. And I said, where are the others? Like Jesus Christ said, he said he healed them 10 lepers. Only one came back. Where are the 9? I said, where are the others? And I saw one of the former commissioners of this government went on the air and said, look at them, these black tank people. How many of them? 13 people are protesting and they say Oshun is protesting. And one of them even came on air on the radio station and said, the people are happy, people of Oshun are very happy. Those people in Abuja, they are disgruntled, they are just sent by politicians to do this and that. They will tear gas us, they will arrest us, they will bulldoze us, whatever they will do. The most important thing is that our own destiny is in our hands. And until we are willing, we are ready to pay the price, to enforce that change that we need, we will continue to be where we are. And finally, I want to ask this question. How many of us, in all sincerity, with all conviction, believe that it is possible to change the course of events in Osun State by our own hands? There are people who just come and say, well, we are running, we are talking about it. Yes, I believe in prayers. Yes, I believe in prayers. But prayers without works, faith without works is dead. How many of us will search our own hearts consciously and know that we indeed know that what it takes to change the course of events in Osun State is in our hands, and we are willing to give it all that it requires to get to where we're going. The Lord will bless us as we move forward. Thank you very much.
I believe we can do better. Thank you so much, sir, for the exposition. That was great. I believe you are all noticing. I can see some of you are even recording. And as you can see that it is not a gathering where we just have to put ourselves somewhere. I believe that all these things that you are hearing, you will go back to your organization and you will sensitize people there. That is the purpose. And some have asked me that program like this should be happening every week. I said, it can't work like that. But I'm happy to inform you that it will be happening every month. Every month. Because that is how the round of question. Okay, please, I'm coming. The program is almost nearing rounding up, so we want to appeal to some of us that are going to far places. But before your questions, sir, and probably other person's question, I want to especially call on the Secretary of IET, the former Secretary of IET local government, Madam Bola Faguri, for just rushing around.
I don't want to mention today. I have only 2 advice to give. Actually, I'm fully impressed by what I heard this afternoon from Dr. Ogini and my leader, Barrister One, when we are talking about the situation of Osun State, only one thing we have to say is the situation of Osun State now since 2003, when my leader, my Oga, Omoba Olagusoye Oyinlola, by then he was the governor of Osun State, till 2010, where Osun State is. And from 2010, of November 26 till date, where Osun State is. The problem we are facing in Osun State now, who are the causes, is me and you, especially you students. I come from Ayedere local government, Igbo federal constituency. Something happened around December and November, December last year, when the Igbo want to change the student union want to change the cabinet. A very terrible thing. Àwọn students torí pa fẹ́ change afẹ́ ṣe chairman afẹ́ ṣe president afẹ́ ṣe secretary afẹ́ ṣe ìkọ̀kan wọ́n ní láti lọ bá àwọn political leaders ẹnìkan fún wọn ní 750,000 naira láti bá election jẹ́ ọ̀tọ̀ làwọn tó fẹ́ lò ọ̀tọ̀rí pé ìjà wà láàrin leader méjì ní Ìgbò present wọ́n ṣe bákan bákan.
Dọ́gbọ́n sí.
Till now, election yóò ṣe ṣe till now. I don't know bóyá a rí àwọn tó wá láti Ìgbò. Yes. Issue yẹn ní láti lọ sí ààfin. Issue yẹn lọ sí ààfin Olúwo and the election was cancelled. Till now. And you students, are you not our futures? You are. You have. But where are you taking us to? 1. 2. Mo wò láàrin gbogbo àwọn tá a jókòó mo róbìnrin mẹ́ta àbí mẹ́rin mo róbìnrin 5 ẹjọ́ ẹ̀yin obìnrin márùn-ún tẹ́ wà níbí mi ò rò pé tó wà ní west wa tó wá láti west wa ni wọ́n nínú àwọn obìnrin ẹ̀yin ọkùnrin tẹ́ wá láti west where are the ladies?
Mú wọn wá.
What? My own advice to you as a student union, go back home, not to school, but go back home and sit down and rethink. Torí pé tá a bá ń bá lọ báyìí, Ọ̀ṣun State, ìbò ní yóò láǹtì sí. Torí pé ẹ̀yin tẹ́ jẹ́ student wa, ẹ̀yin náà làwọn olóṣèlú lò, I'm a politician. Yes. Ẹ̀yin là ń lò. Ṣùgbọ́n let me say this, where is my own child láàrin yìí? Yes. That's the question you should always ask yourself. Whenever they call you for àwọn tó ń pè mí yìí ọmọ tí wọ́n dà, àwọn tó ní kí n lọ dà lórí ọmọ tí wọ́n dà, àwọn tó ní kí n lọ ṣáàdà tó ní kí n lọ gbébọn, where their own children. For you students, nílò yẹ o tí wọ́n bá ti fún wa ní talking amount bóyá 10,000 tí wọ́n bá fún lówó jù tí wọ́n bá fún ní 50,000 naira àti ìgbàjọba. You can do and undo. We are leaders of tomorrow. Agreed. We are leaders of today. Wait, what I mean by tomorrow? What I mean by tomorrow? You are still in school now. You are still in school now. Yes. Okay. Sorry. I'm sorry. As a leader of today, where are we going? In Osun State, where are we going? Please, my only advice to you is to go back and sit down and rethink. Olúwa ràn ìlú wa lọ́wọ́. Ṣùgbọ́n Bíbélì sọ pé Ọlọ́run rẹ̀ ni tí ó bá ran ara rẹ̀ gbogbo tó bá ràn lọ́wọ́ ni Ọlọ́run ràn lọ́wọ́. I'm a woman, I'm a mother. Ntẹ́mi ò bá tẹ̀lé fọmọ mi ṣe, mo sọ fọ́lọ́ mi ìgbàdúrà rẹ̀ kì í fọmọ ọlọ́mọ ṣe. But we politicians, we are not the same. We are not. Adé àti rò pé ọmọ skul tó bá ti rí wá lórí tó wálé wa lẹ́nu tó wálé wa lọ́la kí ló kù tá a máa ṣe fún un ìjẹ́ wọn bá ṣe máa mú wọn lẹ̀ tá a máa ṣe sọ. Ṣùgbọ́n tá a bá ti délé tán á ti gbàgbé o. Ṣé mọ̀ ní òyọ́ra nílẹ̀ o? Á ti gbàgbé wọ̀ lọ́síwájú ó wà lọ́wọ́ èmi àti èmi. Especially you youth. Please, we should know the child of who we are. Ẹlòmíì ò wọ́n fẹ́ tó jẹ́ pé ní ìyá rẹ̀ kó tó rí owó handout fún ó máa ṣe báyìí. On getting back to school, a máa ṣe bí
ọmọ olóòní.
Tó bá tó táì tó bá náà lọ sí kéètì ẹ̀ka tó ń fún ní ìtọ́sán wá ní níbo ló fẹ́ padà sí. Kò sí ilé tó fẹ́ padà sí. Orúkọ ọ̀tọ̀ ni tó ń ṣe ní skul ọ̀tọ̀ nígbà tó ń fún lé. Then àwọn obìnrin láti máa wò pé ẹlòmíì aṣọ ọmọ jẹ́jẹ́ ń lé tó bá dé skul wá lọ́mọ ọ̀tá ọmọ obìnrin. Kí kọ́kọ́ ṣẹlẹ̀, èmi àti ẹnìkan á rí ìwà 2 days ago yá. Ó ní Ọ̀ṣun State. Mi ìwà bí láti criticize, mi ò lè criticize ẹgbẹ́ tó one time. No, mi ò ṣe é sí o, but mi ò lè criticize wọn because mi ò fóòtì fún ara ẹgbẹ́. That is the topic, mi ò dúró. So ó ṣe dáadáa kò ṣe dáadáa o. Torí ká jọ pé yà ọwọ́ ara wa la fi fa ìdá náà jọ. Ọlọ́mọ wà fìyà jẹ wá. The next 2 or 3 years, coming 2018 precisely, another election will come up. Ta lè mi ó lò, ta lè mi ó ṣiṣẹ́ fún mi. Ṣé àtọ̀ríwá tún ni àbí ọmọ ẹ̀dùn? Ṣé tó máa wá dé tó mọ̀ sọ̀rọ̀ wa ni? Àbẹ tó wà láàbùrọ̀d tó jẹ́ Òṣogbo abroad, or Ìwó abroad, or Iléṣà abroad láti mú wá. We should need to check ourselves.
Thank you so much. A round of applause, I believe we can do better. Yes, now it's time for question and interactive section. I believe some of us have put a question in place. They just give us your name and then you go straight to the question because of our time. You want to ask question or ask? Because I have now host president here and you are promotion west. And in Nigeria.
They are fighting.
I comment. Then you want to ask question too because of our time. So I don't know. Go ahead. Articulate Nigerian student.
Articulate.
The conscious Nigerian student.
Conscious.
First of all, I commend you. God bless you. I remember let me go by a little bit history, sir. When he was a chairman of a particular committee, so he had what he did for the House State. And because committee, although I was able to have access to that thing, so I will see you as a guy.
Because you are running, I'm supposed to be the national student advisor.
So, as far as everything is concerned, and as far as the educational sector of the society, about a month ago, I think, so the deputy coordinator is here. We were opportune to meet with Mr. Governor, and we told him to his face that he got it wrong at the inception of this thing. Although he organized what he can call one of the best educational submits then. But those who he cut down then was a big as far as the educational sector is concerned. But those who are in here that have been part and parcel of the system, they were not caught. So that is why all the policies formulated are not working for us in the state. And that is why we are. So his reaction there was that that was his reaction. That was what he said. That are you getting what I'm saying, sir? So, sir, as far as the union is concerned in the state, we are making efforts. I personally, I know I have led protest twice as far as the struggle is concerned. And I've never go to any one of them to collect anything from them. Sir, we as a product of struggle, sir, as a product of struggle, we need your help to make things work for us. So, and secondly, sir, I want to use this opportunity as well, and to the students who are here, by God's business model, we want to organize a program. We target coping many of social crises in our school, and we want it to be cut across all the 9 federal conferences. So, because social crisis is one of the day in our secondary school now. So, the 8 years there is being shut down since last week. That crisis, so many schools like that. We got it.
That's
8 years.
The one that's
Another question.
Good afternoon. My name is Lukman. Sir.
Lukman, sir.
Yes, Lukman. My thing is always this. We actually don't know who can assist us. Because where I work, I'm not a party carrying over, but I'm always like advocating for good governance. So I had one particular colleague of mine, his name is Kazim, he's a PDP party carrier. But we have discussions always. But one thing I want to tell you then, in the last political installation is this. Sarkazim, is it the candidate that your party is producing that will save us from the problem we have now? His answer is always sketchy. Now this is what I'm telling you. Now despite the fact we know Arabeshola has gotten it wrong in some of his decisions, this is shit. He has to clean it. Two things will work out today, sir. If the other party should come in, fine. We will know the deficiency of all these programs in a very good time. But what will be coming in is this: they didn't allow me to finish. It is a party propaganda. It is this and that. We will actually not know the truth about things. But thank God he came in the second time. Now, things are flying in. Despite that part, there are still some claims that there are no issues. What is particular here is this: whichever candidate a party will produce, we had to vote for him because someone like me, I didn't just see that candidate that I said, okay, fine, this is a top match for him. This person can actually do better than him. And also, he has caused the issue, so he should be the one to clean it himself. But I still have hope that something will still turn out better. I still have hope that something will still turn out better. But the point is this: which student unionism are we doing now? Which student unionism are we doing now? Some of us are not even informed. No personal development from ourselves. What is that thing you yourself will stand for and say, okay, fine. Even despite all odds, I know what I'm saying. This is the atom. He's always with his bag, running around there. Even when he speaks, you know he has that thing. But you will just speak the matter, you start talking and say, what is this you are saying now? You yourself interpret it yourselves. But what we can also do for ourselves is we should develop ourselves personally. We should know what we are fighting for. Fine, the other speaker was asking questions. Who knows this, who knows that? Some of us does not even know. When I wake up in the morning, when I start reading this news, because even before you tell me, I will actually read something, either it is true or false. Because some of us don't even take extra mic to do all those things. All we just want is, okay, fine, buses should be paid. We have not been paid buses. We have not been doing that. When I was in the house president in my holiday, all we are waiting for was buses. But I told them, see, things we can do better for ourselves. There are much than this bursary we are talking about. Bursary is an additional advantage for us. But let us just talk and let them hear us. And we achieve something at the end of the day. Some students are not graduated because they are investing money. What kind of unionism is that? I just hope God will save us at the end of the day. I was telling this same class, see, my dear brother, and I met out of this morning after several years. Now see, there's a need for us to just regroup. We need to regroup and chart the way forward. Now, okay, fine. How can we, despite all odds, how can we achieve success? May God help us.
So we only would you like to answer those questions, or people should continue? Yes, he has a question. Is from News Agency of Nigeria.
Okay, yeah, let's
None. Okay, so that's all right.
Thank you very much. So I have 3 questions to ask. Based on the economic
What's the name, sir?
my name is Joshua Oladipo
Okay.
from News Agency of Nigeria. I have 2 questions to ask. The first one, looking at the predicament in the country, even the state now, you can see the hardship on every individual. Now, the merging of schools, the scrapping of agencies, the retrenchment, the untimely sacking of workers, which we see that is not really the best. And putting it on the side of the government, they will say they are trying to cut costs and also increase the internal generated revenue. Now, what do you think, sir? I'm putting it to you, sir. What do you think can be done without putting hardship on the common man? That is my first question, sir. Without, this continuous sacking. My second question, you mentioned agriculture and economy. Exactly. that it should be well propelled. How do you think it can be done? Because okay, only you, and we know how much is coming to the state of Osun. We know how much they receive their allocation after all the and the third one, it goes to the students. You said enforcing change. That there is need to enforce change. Because I could remember, before the election of Governor Rauf Parebejola, I happened to be one of his media aides that is in the press group. I do follow him for campaigns. In fact, up till the day he was even doing his casting his vote, I was beside him. But one thing I noticed is that the majority of the students, I don't use it for I'm just going want to double. If you don't matter anyone. So do you think these same people, because if you look at the list now, if you take a statistic now, majority of those that fought for a struggle, they are still the person that are crying out that they need change. Election is just 2 years and 10 months, if I'm not mistaken. Do we think these same people are still the people expected to enforce this change?
Very good question.
Or power okay. Thank you very much.
Yes. Question one, please.
So I want you to react on key factor that I believe that is affecting students to participate in activism and unionism. Sir, it happened to me that in my own state, which is Oyo State, but precisely, some of our government are celebrating some hooligans in our state. The person of Tokyo and the likes. They gave them the right to operate as, let me say, government. They give them the government right. In a situation whereby a commercial vehicle that is finding something to eat, kind of person will be hijacking him on the road that he must pay some amount of money for which I believe it is meant for some individual, not by government. And another instance is that even our parents at home discourage us to participate in unionism. They said that union
Because of our time, I will want our guys to react so that.
Okay, thank you. Well, I thank you for the various comments and questions that were made. My brother, the NAO's president, where is he again? Is he out? NAO's president? Okay. It's nice to see you. I haven't seen NAO's for a while. Like I said, if NAO's has records, when you go and check the records of NAO's, you will find out that I am supposed to be the national advisor of NAO's. We founded NAO's together, we sustained NAO's together. At various points in time, I was the sole person who was like the arbiter in NAO's. Whenever there were problems in NAO's that required somebody coming in to resolve issues for a very long time, until NAO's went away, and I didn't see NAO's again, just because NAO's felt that there's a new government in power. And I said, well, I wasn't appointed a NAO's advisor as a politician. I was made a NAO's advisor when I was a broadcaster in OSBC. And I don't think it's a sin to now become a politician. And up to the time that I was media assistant to the governor, up to the time I was government chairman, I was still relating well with NAO's. But immediately another party came, the House Assembly just felt this one is the PDP. And I think that's not too right. It's not a very right attitude. But it's good to see you. You spoke about the education summit. I don't have the details of that summit. I don't have the details. I wasn't invited. I didn't go. Maybe if I had gone there and I have the details, I can comment very well on it. But I find it very funny that black people love summits. You know, there's a book, there's a drama piece called Holding Talks. Is there anybody who's read of literature here? Okay, Holding Talks is a drama written by Femi Oshobuson. Holding Talks. Black people love to talk. We love summit. That's where I started from. We are holding summit now. After here, everybody goes back. We'll come back again next month to hold talk. We'll come back again to hold talk. Nobody does anything. If you look at the summit that's held in this state, from the time of Isiaka Adeleke, president governor of the state, up to the time of Arebe, they are enough to bail out even a country. So I just laugh. Nobody is talking about the economic summit. If I don't know of any other economic summit, I know of the one that was held in 2005 in Ada when Oyinlola was governor. Just go and take the report of that economic summit and study it. It has actually everything that you need to solve the problem of this state. But when another government comes in now tomorrow, the first thing they will do is economic summit, education summit. It's not about summit. All the ones we have had, where are the results? And then you talk about that you have organized, various engagements with the government and various. You have to just step off your game and be more proactive, especially with the media. That's one area that you need to really work on. Because the society, like I told you in the beginning, believes things that are said by the civil society stakeholders more than what politicians say. If the PDP comes out and says we condemn Arebe for magic school and Naos keeps quiet, Sudan keeps quiet, everybody keeps quiet. The person in Abeokuta, the person in Zamfara, reading it because this politician, maybe because the man they don't like his party. But you are regarded as the authentic voice of the people. So you have to be more proactive, especially with the media. If you get it right with the media and your voice is heard, they will take whatever you are saying better. Whatever area you think we can also work together with you, I am always available. Lukman, you gave very interesting dimension to the whole thing. And I've had that line of argument from a few people that let him just do second term, let him just do his own. He's the one that started, let him, I've had that many times. But you see, it is because we don't know the value of time as a people. We don't know the value of time. The time is a resource that you cannot regenerate when you expend it. 4 years is not a joke in the life of a state. And I stood against the election of Governor Arebe because I believed, and I still believe, that he's taking the state, down the abyss, backwards. And when the result was announced, is anybody my friend on Facebook here, please? Do I have any friend apart from Brother Charles? I don't have any other friend on Facebook here. Very, very unusual. I usually have friends on Facebook at occasions like this. Okay, fine. When the election results were announced, I posted something on my wall. And I may not remember the exact word, but let me tell you what I wrote. I said, congratulations, Governor Raouf, on your election. Now the people of Osun State have entrusted their lives into your hands. It is now time for you to prove us wrong that we are not who we say you are. That's what I wrote. I had almost, if I'm not mistaken, almost 200 comments and likes and whatever on that. I said, now it is time for you to prove us wrong that we are not who you say you are. Because, like I said, I knew what was likely to happen with a man like that coming back as the governor for a second time. But well, that has happened, and you're talking about the candidate. I agree with you. There are times when you don't have the very good alternative. People are pushed to, retain what they have. I don't want to comment too much on that.
I was not a supporter of the candidate of the PDP. I didn't support him at all until he became the candidate, and then I supported him, voted for him, and worked for him. But before he became the candidate, I preferred other persons to be candidate of the party. But well,
in any political party, the majority will always have their way, the minority will have their say. But I'm hoping that the next election, whichever party is the major opposition party, will be able to produce a man or a woman who fits into what Osun needs at this critical point in time. But the responsibility is also in our hands. Don't just look at politicians. I'm telling you, it's not just about politicians. Even from the civil society, candidates can come up that will vie for position, on the platform of political parties. That's the great truth. There's nothing stopping you from being a member of the House of Assembly, from your local government. There's nothing stopping you from you are not too young and you're not inexperienced too. So I think we should all be politically engaged so that we can have very good alternative the next election that we're going to have. You spoke about personal development. I agree absolutely with you. And this is one area I always challenge young persons that we really need to brush up our knowledge and understanding of issues so that whenever we have opportunities to engage with some of these people, they will know that they are not just talking to stop. People don't understand what is happening. We have to know the issues involved. Dr. Ogini was asking whether you read the letter written by that judge. The full letter, yes. I was circulating it around there through so many emails. If I still have all your emails, it's something I can forward to your emails and everybody will have it. It's something you should have. What did the woman say? We are not illiterate. It's very, very important. Very, very important. Brother Joshua, you asked how can we solve the problem without putting hardship on the people, and they talk about cutting costs. Ladies and gentlemen, when they talk about cutting costs in governance and they talk about IGR, I have been in government at different levels of governance, and I understand what happens in government. And if you have been studying the various reports about budget, you will understand what I'm talking about. Now let me show you something. Let me show you something on today's punch. Is it on the front page or where? Okay, look at what we have down here. 2016 budget. Can you see this? 2016 budget. Governor's budget billions of naira for feeding, maintenance, others. Now, if you have been involved in government, you understand that what happens in government most often is that unless we have an active civil society, governance will continue to feed the rich at the expense of the poor. Government can tell you we want to increase taxes. Fine, government needs money to do more things, especially now that we have dwindling income from oil. We need money. If we park and they say, where we are parking, pay 100 naira, I should be able to pay. But the question is, where is that money going? Am I paying 100 naira to feed the wife of the governor? Am I paying my 100 naira to provide more attire for the children of the governor? To increase the allowance of the House of Assembly members? Let me give you one simple assignment. Let me give it, if anybody can do this assignment, I promise you, you will be one of the persons I will respect most in my life. It's an assignment I want you to do. Go and find out how much were local government chairmen taking as interest and security votes when PDP Oyinlola was in government, and how much local government chairmen are taking today as interest and security votes. That's number one. Go and find out how much was the ESTA code. ESTA code is the allowance you take when you travel out of the country. When you travel as a government of out of the country, so there's an allowance you take.
Please, are you noting that? ESTA code.
There's an allowance you take per night. Go and find out how much was the amount of money paid per night as ESTA code for government officials when PDP was in government in Osun, and how much is being paid today. That's two. Let me just make it 3. The last one, this may be very difficult for you to find out. I have all this information. I don't want to be giving you so that you don't think we're just here to play politics. The last one, I don't know how you can get this, but if you are very diligent, maybe you can. There is a budget that the government house uses for feeding and entertainment. It's the wife of the governor that usually manages it. I'm telling you the reality in government. Find out how much was being paid to the wife of the governor for that purpose when Oyinlola was governor. How much is being collected today? Now, there is a man who is the former head of service of Osun State, Leadership Wakimusi. You are part of our team, maybe you know him. The day he answered this last question and he told me, I doubted it. I didn't tell him, I didn't believe. But my mind told me, how can something go from so amount to so amount? From like 1 million to 20 something million. I said, I was thinking in me, but it's an elderly man. So I went to investigate myself and I confirmed it. From less than 2 million to 20 something million. Now, I'm saying this because if government says we want to generate more money, we want to pay tax, and you are sure that the tax you are going to pay will be used to tar the road in front of your house, will be used to provide books for your children in school, will be used to provide water for your village, you will be happy to pay it. But what we do in this part of the country is that we increase the burden of the poor to increase the comfort of the rich. Let me tell you something that happened when I was local government chairman. And that's why when people come on my wall, I just, in fact, in anger, some people, I just throw them out of the discussion. There was a time that we wanted to board some vehicles. You know, when you have vehicles that are old, non-serviceable, consuming more money to maintain, you board them, you sell them through auction. And I'm telling you what I'm telling you, the Almighty God is my witness. The Almighty God is my witness. I called the cabinet together and I said, I know how they do this thing, but I don't want to do it the way they used to do it. How they do it is that you, secretary, take Mercedes-Benz. You, my supervisor, take Nissan Lorette. You take it. That's how they used to do it. And they will just publish it that want to auction car is a lie. The auction is internal. So I said, no, we are going to do real auction. We are going to put prices on these things, and we are going to do a sealed tender. If you want to buy it, we are going to publish it on radio. You come and do tender. Ah, my God, I knew the battle I fought. The kings, KBSs came to me and said, Chairman, they don't do it that way. We are interested in buying A, B, and Z. Many people who knew me, I said, I'm sorry, KBSc. Maybe if you are told before I announced, I have announced, I can't go back on it, I'm sorry, go and tender, go and bid. People came from the states, Auditor General's office, who is the regulatory body for that process, and said, we want to buy this thing too, and that's not. I said, no, I won't do it that way. So I can't remember the exact figure now, but what I want to bring out of it is that, let's say the money that we would have realized by the price we even put on the property was like 500,000 naira. We made almost 5 million naira. Because of the fact that we did not do it, we did not allow in-house trading, where you can just give your friend and say, pay 30,000. Okay, you are my friend, okay, pay 60,000. No, some people came. Some people, we put 60,000 naira on, they will bid 250,000 naira. Isn't that good for us? And we sold at that amount. Made a lot of money for the local government. Now, where am I going? Immediately we left local government, and this is a public program and I'm being recorded. The vehicles that I used a Tokubo car as chairman of local government. For the first 7 months, I used my personal car as chairman and being recorded. Let's go and upload it. If anybody in Ecuador knows the truth, contrary from me, let them publish it. I used my personal car for the first 6 months in office. So after 6 months, I bought a Tokubo car as my official car. By the time I left as chairman, and this same political party came on board, all the cars, including some of the cars that we bought new from some other officials, were boarded, were sold to people within the government at ridiculous prices. I knew how much they bought the car that I was using, an official car. I knew how much they sold some of the other cars that we were using in the local government, ridiculous prices to people within. And then you will come and tell me progressive party, conservative party. What progressive are you talking about? What of the sort? If you want to cut costs and you want to govern in a way that will not make you look like, you know, in Nebuchadnezzar, you should lead by example. Don't increase your own security vote, increase your traveling allowance, and tell the people that you are going to increase taxes. I don't know whether you understand what I'm saying. I mean, these are things, it's just senseless. You are increasing security vote, you are increasing interest, you are increasing allowances, and you are increasing taxes. So that they will pay the tax to feed you. Man, it's a sin. Agric as a solution to economic problem, yes. And I think this is a no-brainer. Agric is about the most, the most vital tool we have in Osun State that we can use to develop this economy. But one other problem I've identified with the black man, I'm sorry, I'm a black man too. We are very, very indisciplined. We are impatient. We are indisciplined. We are not disciplined. And what does discipline mean? What does discipline mean? A disciplined person will have focus. We have purpose. You know, developing agriculture as a means of developing the economy will not happen within 2 years, will not happen within 3 years. It will take a consistent pattern of planning and execution. Governor Olamide Oyinlola, as the governor of Osun State, started an agri program. Along the line, I must admit that he also derailed from that program. This government came on board and started another one and abandoned it again and went. The problem with us is that we want a quick fix. We just want quick solution. Yes. And that is why I thank God Almighty that oil is facing serious problem in the international market. Because today, if oil should become $120 per barrel again, Nigerians will forget all this cry about diversifying the economy. We are going to go back to business as usual. We are not disciplined. We are not, we are not focused. We just do the. If you want to do a program like that, in fact, you will have a 10-year plan. For what you are building consistently. God will help us. We talk about enforcing change. It is true that there is a compromise, and that point you raised. It's a point I always mention whenever I'm talking to many people. You people who are here, how many of you voted in the last election for the APC governorship candidate? It's not a sin, please. I mean, that was your choice. How many of you voted for the APC government last election? 2015 and 2015. 2014. Okay, you did. You did, sir. Yes, that was your choice. Very good. That was your choice. That was your choice. It's not a sin, like I said. I always tell some of my brothers when they say, people have realized the truth. People have realized. I say, well, I don't know yet. I tell them, I don't know yet until the next election. I tell them, I don't know yet. I don't know whether they have realized the truth. Now, there's no fault in somebody saying, well, I prefer this candidate to this candidate. But if that candidate does not justify your expectation, listen to this very well. In the next election, Governor Rauf Aregbesola is not going to contest. I hope you know that. He's going to bring another person in on the problem with political party. And we're going to have people who say, well, at least it's not him. At least it's a new person. So let's try this person. Well, whatever we're going to do, let's shine our eyes. Let's know that we are not doing anything on the basis of impulse or parochial political sentiment. Analyze the options very well and go for the option that will best serve the purpose of bringing this state, higher than it has been. Mr. Ridwan says about government. Okay, those governments endorse hooligans in your state.
the Tokyo and the, I think the only one is one that's together. No, you wouldn't know when you will be clapping. You know, that time you go to where you live and you are addressing Congress and you see people coming up there, yeah, maybe, yeah, but now, unless there's something we can do to reform it and to refresh it, it's become something else. Most of the SA student affairs in many states of the federation are cultists. Did you hear me well? Most of the SA student affairs in most states today, they are cultists. I'm not saying in Osun, I don't even know the person who is in charge in Osun. But in some states that I know very well, they are no cultists though. And they'll be going to Nance convention and they'll be preparing the number of cutlasses and guns and eyes that are going to talk about the number of the kind of amulets and everything. That never happened in our own time. So I don't blame your parents. They place so much premium on your life and they don't want your life. But if you are convinced and passionate, like my very good brother, the Nance Zone D coordinator, to go into it, we are with you. And we know that you will succeed by the grace of the Almighty God. And finally, I think that was somebody talked about SUG. I don't know what you said about SUG. Okay. Well, I don't know. Those are the things I have to say concerning this.
Thank you so much. Because of our time.
Huh? You don't care.
Because of our time. Okay. Question. Abi?
Maybe 30 seconds.
Question. President of the Apple Mali. Files. Federation of Apple Union.
You don't go straight to the question.
Sir. Okay, let's start with you. Please just go straight. If it is question or contribution, please just go straight.
You will always
just have to make this contribution. Although I was born in Ebe, I grew up in Ebe. I attended Army Junior School in 1982. And by God's grace, I attended Adventist Grammar School. The school the Deleke attended. That school I attended. The Adventist Grammar School in Ebe. I knew when Ebe was tough. When you cannot pass the bridge in the night. I knew when school left Ede. I knew all these things. I knew how tough that town was. I attended Federal Polytechnic Ede in 1997 for my OND or ND, whatever they call it. I knew when that school started because my dad was among the lecturers that started that school. I also knew when HN started in Ede. I knew the time the first rector died. I do go to his house in Bangushe. We are like family friends. Now I'm back to that same campus from Abuja. I knew I had an assignment in Ede. They called me back. I was their best friends in electronics. They called me back to come and work here. And I cried and then I got the call. I never wanted to come to Ede. But there was something in my heart that was heavy. I have an assignment in this town. Though I'm not an indigene, even though the previous king that had gone, even though he wanted our family to collect the citizenship of the town before he died, we didn't. We claimed Delta, but we believed that we belong to this town. I want us to understand something. We will continue to have meetings like this without any results until we take action. I was telling this my brother, I said I don't like attending meetings like this. But because of this my brother, the way he spoke with me, something good must come out of this meeting. I have acres of land. I wanted to farm. I'm an engineer. At least I have track records of things I have invented, I have done, that now nobody's even looking at it. I invented an aeroplane. It flew in my secondary school days, GSS-3. It flew. Just clock, because I'm not an indigene, they didn't look at me. I invented an helicopter. It flew. In that same Adventist Grammar School, the track record is still there. Nobody look at me because I'm not an indigene. By God's grace, I invented an FM transmitter during my ND. NBT will come. They will invite me where I was with my IT. This place we are standing was former Component Systems. Okay, here. They were formally there. I was there when they were there. Engineer Taiwo Oladimeji, he finished from UI, was my boss. I worked with him. When components left that building to this place, I was already back to school, but I came here visiting to assist him. I want us to understand something. We have to make a move fast. We have to start making this. We have to start taking steps. We have made enough decisions. I have acres of land, as I said. I wanted to farm. I could not get tractor to farm my land. In that place, I have acres of land. Most of us we have people that can help us. They are not looking at us because they are thinking we are not serious. Some of us are serious. As we are all talents, we are gifted, but we are not doing anything simply because we think somebody needs to come and push us. Let's push ourselves. When they see it, that we have something we have something in us, they will support us. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Round of applause.
What I would like to say is that, first of all, in a gathering like this, I would like to appreciate the people that organize this type of program. Actually, coming out of this is the first time of meeting you physically, but I've heard so much about you. But just like it has always been, this kind of gathering shouldn't be in hobby. Yes, I said that. This type of gathering, because I am a student and I am a youth. All these our daddies here, they used to call themselves youth. They are not youth. Because just like the first speaker said, he said, "It's fair to grant a bit." Even though he's still 50, according to him, he said, "It's fair to grant a bit." So when all these people are telling us we are youth, they are not youth anymore. We are youth. And if people that actually organize this program that I so much encourage and I so much appreciate them, they are the one pushing us now. When it's time for us to voice out our mind, I think they should actually take note of that. Today is for the program. We didn't do this yesterday and we might not do this tomorrow. So if I will be permitted to continue with what I have to say, or if I should have to go and sit down.
Go ahead, please. 1 second. I mean, 30 seconds.
Yeah, so because what I want to say is that my dad is sitting down here. I called him my dad because I'm from his local government. I've heard so much about him from my dad. He's my former chairman of my local government in the local government. I'm from Itoshi. But what I want to point out is you are among people that spoiled our life. You are among people that spoiled Nigeria. Sir, because most of you, sir, when you are in government, you don't honor this kind of invitations. You only honor such things when you are out of government.
You don't know me.
Believe me sincerely, sir. I am not talking to you particularly now, sir. I'm talking generally to politicians. Because look at the woman sitting down here, she has left too. And people like that. You see, when you are talking, when we started the program, you said you invited some APC members, but they are not here, giving excuses. But I'm telling you that in 5 years' time, if you organize a program like this and they are no more in government, I'm telling you they will sit down here with us. Are you getting what I'm saying? So what are we talking about? What are we saying? Who are the youth? That woman was saying the youth are the leaders of tomorrow. Some of my colleagues here, my brothers here, they said, no, we are not leaders of tomorrow, we are leaders of today. We are not even leaders of today. And our tomorrow self, we don't even know if we will be the leader. So that's just the truth. Are you getting what I'm saying now? So what I'm trying to say is I've actually listed things here now. And I think I've said the first one of it, that most of these people, they said that our leaders, they are this, they are that. They are not part of us. So the number one step I want us to take now is that we should exclude these people from our future. I used to tell my own dad at home. They would say, Nigeria is not like this. Look, you have to be serious. You have to do this so that when we leave, you will enjoy. Imagine how people imagine. Then I used to tell them whenever I have the opportunities. I've met several people. Are you getting me? Just like I'm meeting my former chairman.
50 50 kobo. Oh, single, praise the zingo, praise the zingo, praise the Lord, zingo.